Hello and welcome to Clarity 16.3.3 Feature Supportability Training. I am Santosh Panchali and I am a product manager of Clarity. In this session, we'll review the enhancements made to financials area of Clarity, specifically the financial plans. So, what are those enhancements? Firstly, we bring in the capability to modify or update grouping attribute values on existing budget or cost plan detail records. Next, we are bringing in the capability to configure and enforce custom business rules on the financial plan and detail objects. And why are these enhancements important? Prior to this release, directly updating the grouping attribute values on an existing budget or cost plan detail records wasn't allowed, which means that to correct a mistake made in choosing the grouping attributes, users had to first delete the entire record and recreate it with the corrected values, also making sure that any other data like cost, etc., are also re-entered. Allowing the grouping attribute values to be modified directly on the record eliminates this cumbersome process. And allowing administrators to configure and enforce business rules opens up a world of opportunities with respect to financial data governance, allowing controls like preventing accidental data updates, disabling or even hiding certain actions or fields under certain conditions. Now, let's get into a short demonstration to see these capabilities in action. Alright, I'm logged into Clarity and I'm on the cost plan details page for Financial Plan V4. I realize that there was a mistake in choosing Tom Morris for this record. How do I correct it? It's simple. I'll just click on that value and in this release it allows me to change it. Let's choose Jason Berry and the update is saved and the other details like cost are retained. However, you may have noticed that values like actual cost, which may not be correct for this new combination, are cleared, including any other dependent fields like variances also get updated. To get the latest actuals for this new combination, we need to refresh the page. Here they are. If in case the newly chosen value makes the combination a duplicate of an existing one, like for example this one, an error message is appropriately displayed indicating so. Now, let's shift to the administration workspace to review the other enhancement. I am on the blueprint page for project major, that is for the project object. Let's go to the rules page and create a new rule. Now, in the target objects, we can find financial plan objects like cost plan detail, benefit plan detail. Note that both cost plan and budget plan share the same object by name cost plan with an additional condition on plan type code that we'll see in a moment. Similarly, at detail level, cost plan detail and budget plan detail share the same object cost plan detail. When any of these is chosen as a target object, note that only view page type of rules can be applied. Like you would expect, the rule conditions can be built on both target object as well as its parent object, in this case project, as you could see here. And when it comes to actions, the plan objects support the following actions. That includes even disabling and hiding actions. And the plan detail objects support these actions, like you can see here. Oh, by the way, it is worth noting that these financial plan objects are available as target objects for all type of investments, that is, custom investments as well as ideas, in addition to projects that we are reviewing here. In the interest of time, I have already created a few rules. Let's review them. This one is for disallowing modification of financial plans for projects whose financial status is kept on hold. Here, I have chosen the target object as cost plan and the condition to be on the parent object, that is project, and the actual condition being financial status is on hold. And the action chosen is to disable editing target object, that is, in this case, the cost plan. Let's see how this works on the end user consumption side. In another session, I have logged in as a financial manager and navigated to this project with open financial status. Now, when we navigate to cost plans and try to change the start period, I am allowed to do so, and this is expected. Now, let's go back to the project properties and make the financial status set to on hold. Let us navigate to the cost plans again and try to modify the start period. I am not allowed. For that matter, I am not allowed to update any other fields, as you can see here. That is because of the business rule that we reviewed a while ago. Now, let's shift back to blueprint administration and review the next rule. Here, we are trying to disallow editing cost plan detailed records that were populated by the system provided populate actions, that is, populate from allocations and populate from assignments actions. For that, I have chosen the target object to be cost plan detail and the conditions being plan type code being forecast that applies for just cost plans and not budget plans. This is the field that distinguishes a record being a cost or a budget plan. Should I choose a different condition for budgets? The plan type code should have been set to budget. Also, in this release, a new attribute source has been introduced on the cost and budget plan details that indicates the source of creation of the detailed record. It can have values such as manual to indicate detailed records that were manually created by the user, populate action to indicate records that were created by the populate from allocation and populate from assignments actions, and actual without planned to indicate that the record has been created in the cost plan by the system due to presence of actuals for that particular grouping attribute combination. For this business rule, we have chosen that source to be populate action. So, to reiterate, we are trying to disallow editing cost plan detail records that were created by populate actions. That is shown in the actions as well. Let's check out this rule on the end user consumption side. Here, I have different detail records with different sources of creation. We can freely modify the ones that have manual source, like here. However, it does not allow to modify the ones with populate action source, as we can see here. That is due to the rule that we just reviewed. Also, we can neither delete a record because we configured it that way in the actions of the rule. Also, just make a note that we have both populate actions showing up here as expected. Now, Let's review the last rule that I have configured. Here, we are trying to hide the populate from assignments action. For that, I have chosen cost plan as the target object and chosen the actions to hide the populate from assignments option. I have set the plan type code condition to be for cost plans. I could have added additional conditions for it to be hidden based on some criteria, but I wanted to completely hide this action for my org, so did not add any more conditions. Now, let's enable this rule and see how it works on the end user consumption side. Here, I am on the project's cost plans that uses the blueprint with that rule. And let's check the actions allowed. As we can see, the populate from assignments action is not shown at all due to the business rule that we enabled. Here, we reviewed a limited number of ways to control financial plan governance. However, as you can expect, many other possibilities exist. Administrators are empowered to tailor these solutions to fit their organization's unique needs. That concludes the session on financial enhancements in Release 16.3.3. Thank you.